Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to Communist Revolutionary Simulator 6, where once again I really don't understand what's going on. I mean, really, I don't understand what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. And it's not just a case of me becoming increasingly senile, although you should never rule that out. It's just that, well, it's probably best if Paolo explains.
You're still full of shit.
A lot more people here than I thought. Are they musicians too?
Talia collects dreamers dumb enough to pick fights with Anton's Ministry of Culture. I just make sure they aim the barrel away from the face.
Thought I was the only dropout.
Papa was a drill instructor. Family's 5th Gen Army until me.
What happened?
Expelled? When Papa found out I turned from his favorite daughter into a freak. His words.
Shit.
Just trans in the military, compai. I was lucky. Talia caught me trying to steal her gear, but instead of turning me in, she gave me a deck.
Libertad can help all of you here.
Libertad. When Castillo won, we led riots with Clara. And what did it get us?
Clara runs off to play guerrilla, Talia gets thrown into Maria Marquesa's bullshit academy, and have to take a big fucking debt to get her out.
From who?
Bembe, black market smuggler. Once he's paid off, Talia and I are off this fucking rock.
Let me take some debt, Paolo.
I don't do handouts.
Okay.
Why'd you leave the military?
Punch my drill instructor in the throat. I'm not a morning person.
Segunda, Bembe deals in the church.
Okay, where am I going to start? There's a couple of things that I just don't understand from that one brief exchange with Paolo. Paolo and Talia both seem to have this real chip on their shoulder, this overbearing, smug, arrogant sense of superiority over Libertad in general, and Clara in particular. And the source of this conflict in their relationship seems to come from the early days. Well, I say early days, it's debatable how far back we're talking here, because none of these hateful pricks look like they're old enough to be allowed out after dark without adult supervision. But apparently, back in the early days, like, I don't know, last month maybe, Clara was the wet behind the ears revolutionary tagging along with them, and they were the ones taking her to all of the protest rallies against Castillo's regime. And then, presumably, Clara got sick and tired of sitting on her arse and doing fuck all other than writing songs about how great the revolution was going to be, and picked up a gun and actually started the revolution. Paolo even said himself, Clara ran off to play guerrilla, and they all got thrown into prison. Well, Paolo, maybe you should have run off to play guerrilla as well. And honestly, I think that's the source of the conflict. They're basically just jealous that they've become increasingly irrelevant and everybody's looking to Clara for leadership. Which brings me on to the second thing that I don't understand. Given that these petulant children are basically irrelevant, and they all hate Clara for, well, basically just being better than they are, what the fuck does Clara need them for? I don't get it. And that, of course, brings me neatly onto the third thing that I don't understand. Because Paolo has literally just told me that the second this debt is cleared, he and Talia are getting the fuck off Yara.
Once he's paid off, Talia and I are off this fucking rock.
They've just told me they hate Clara, they hate Libertad, they want nothing to do with Clara's revolution, and the second they're free to do so, they're leaving this all behind. So, here's my question, and it's a very simple question, and it seems to be one that at no point Far Cry 6's writers ever stopped to ask themselves. And the question is this: why the fuck am I here? Why am I helping these arseholes? What do I gain from it? What does Clara gain from it? What does the revolution gain from it? And what does Yara gain from it? Although, I don't know. Maybe there is a method to this madness. Because when you think about it, the sooner these clueless fucks are off this island, the better for everyone involved. Now that's a process I can get behind. Alright, I'm in.
Clara, I need to help Paolo pay off a debt to some black market smuggler named Bembe.
Do whatever it takes, Danny. If Paolo was able to build that camp on the run, imagine what he could do for Libertad when he decides to fight.
Understood, Clara.
Yeah, except Paolo didn't build that camp on the run, did he, Clara? He was on the run to the camp that was there anyway, and as soon as he reached there, he hid in the trunk of a car.
You Bembe?
I know a silly when I see one.
What's wrong with Ola, asshole?
Try to fuck me, Danny Rojas. I sell your organs to the Yankees.
And I know if I shoot you, Paulo's death disappears.
No. You have rules. You might kill, but you're no killer.
Mierda, you got me. So what does that make you?
I kill guerrillas. I also kill soldiers. It's just business.
Easy to pretend you're not picking sides.
My father was a guerrilla in '67. After la revolution, he put on a crisp military uniform. 30 years later, to his surprise, a fresh new revolution with fresh new guerrillas. They thank him with a bullet to the skull, buried in the same crisp uniform. Are you ready for your uniform, Rojas?
It goes both ways.
How's that?
You were just dressed like a priest.
I like you, Danny Rojas. We can do business.
Fucking Bembe.
Hit boy! I heard those criminal propagandists.
Okay, Rojas. I need you to pick up my key from my business partners.
Where are they?
At the hotel. My associates are named Dmitri and Vasily. They're Russian and they're twins. I'll make it easy and send a picture.
You're too kind.
They say kindness is the lowest form of manipulation. This is a simple job, Rojas. Get me my key, and Paolo will thank you.
I don't want Paulo's thanks. I want Paulo's debt cleared.
We all do, Rojas. Me most of all.
Right. I'll get you this key. But then you and Paulo are square. Understand?
Love you, Rojas. Bye-bye.
You'll note that at no point did Bembe actually agree to clearing Paolo's debt once I get him his key. Yeah. It's not that Bembe's a liar and a cheat. If you manage to get a straight word out of him, you can hold him to that word. It's just that it's next to impossible to get a straight word out of him. And I don't have a problem with this. I think Bembe's actually one of the better written characters in the game. I mean, he's a sleazebag and a scumball. Or is that a scumbag and a sleazeball? No reason why it can't be both. But he doesn't try to pretend that he's anything other than what he is. I mean, I'm not saying I like him. I don't. I hate him. And given the opportunity, I'll give him the good news from the business end of an AK-47 at the drop of a hat. But that's the way you're supposed to feel about him. He's a scumbag black marketeer and human trafficker, exploiting the misery of the Yaran people in the middle of a bloody civil war in order to make a quick buck. He's actually reasonably well written. The only real issue that I have with the Bembe character is, well, realistically, why not just shoot him? That would solve everybody's problems. I mean, yeah, I know violence doesn't determine who's right, but it does determine who's left. We'll come back to that later. For now, we need to find a key.
Hola, Rojas. I thought you should know that there might be some soldiers at the hotel.
Might be.
Hey, I'm just trying to help you.
You don't help people, Bembe. You use them.
I'll take that as a thank you.
So, looking at the minimap, humongous red blob in the middle of the hotel grounds. So, I should probably do... Oh god, there's one right there. Should probably do some reconnaissance. Oh, there he is.
Okay, so go ahead.
I see a Russian. But is it Dmitri or Vasily?
Take note, fact fans, there's nothing wrong with the gun here, this is me. Just because the sight has a clear line of sight to the target doesn't mean the muzzle does. Because the sight is mounted above the muzzle. Although it would have been nice to see some kind of visual confirmation that I was actually putting bullets into the balustrade there rather than the soldiers down below. But I guess you can't have everything. So I seem to have stirred up a bit of a hornet's nest here, but that's alright. I have a machine pistol with a 7.1 inch barrel that is considerably more accurate than any of the bolt action or semi-automatic sniper rifles available in the game. Because this is a Ubisoft game. And yet, you know, Ghost Recon Wildlands wasn't as shit as this. That's a Ubisoft game. I mean, the guns in Far Cry 5 were pretty terrible as well. The AR-15 knockoff was ludicrously inaccurate. I mean, comically so. That's probably had more to do with the fact that I think it was the first automatic weapon you actually got in the game, rather than anything remotely realistic about the way AR-15s handle. And yes, I have actually handled an AR-15. And yes, I am also completely aware that all of the gun nerds who don't actually own an AR-15 platform are furiously hammering away in the comments now, criticising me for calling them AR-15. What can I say? It's ridiculously easy to wind up gun nerds on the internet. Especially ones that don't actually own any firearms and have never handled a firearm but can't stop talking about them. Watch, I'll show you. So I haven't quite cleared this whole area out yet. There is still another bad guy down at the end of the dock. Oh, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Right, I'll just change the clip. Oh, do you see how easy that was? Yes, I know. It's a magazine, not a clip. Oh, you want to see how people shit themselves when you start talking about the Lee Enfield rifle, because it has a box magazine, an internal box magazine, but it's fed from a stripper clip. And even now, as I've said that, I know that there's somebody preparing to type into the comments, but it doesn't have to be fed from a stripper clip, you can individually hand load this. Oh, it's just so easy. Anyway, plot. I knew we were here for a reason.
Who are you?
Are you Dmitri or Vasily?
Dimitri. Who the fuck are you?
Bembe sent me. Where's the key?
So that's what this is about. Bembe fucked us good. First he sends military, then he sends you.
I don't work for Bembe. I'm just here for the key.
My brother has the key. The soldiers drowned him like a dog, but he didn't once beg for his life. He died in that fancy pool like a man. My Vasily.
Gracias. I'm sorry about your brother.
I'm getting out of Yara. You should too before Bembe stabs you in the back. Idiota kusok! I never should have come to this godforsaken country.
Oh yes, the Yaran military. I knew they existed for a reason. Because anytime you think that the rebels in this game are the biggest bunch of brain-dead fucks to ever grace a computer game, you have the Yaran military, who are always happy to demonstrate that they are in fact the weakest link.
Bembe, you fucking hijo de puta.
So you got my key.
See, I found it on your dead Russian friend.
Now, Rojas. The key opens a safe at Via Judia Hotel. I need the black book inside.
What's in that book?
For you? Paolo's freedom.
Yes, the Yaran military who drowned poor old Vasily there in an effort to get him to tell them where the key was. And at no point did any of them think of checking his pockets. Anyway, we're at the hotel. Let's have a quick look around, because I'm certain that there are going to be some troops here. Even though they seem to be remarkably well hidden by the usual incompetent standards of the Yaran military. Oh wait, no, there they are.
Wonder what would happen if the animals got out.
That's a good question, Danny. Why don't we find out? Like a wildcat or something in that cage? Let's see if the old 1911 can blow the door of the cage off at a range of what looks like 600 metres. I must say it'd be pretty damn impressive if it can, because a modern 5.56mm assault rifle is only really effective at 600 metres if you're shooting as a squad. Meanwhile, I feel I do need to offer a word of explanation for what it is that you're about to see. And when I say explanation, I mean excuse. Because I have made fun of the tripwires in Far Cry 6 in the past, mostly because they're absurd. I mean, they're marked by bright red rope, and they tick audibly at a range of several meters. I mean, just exactly what kind of mouth-breathing, neckbeard, window-licking moron would you have to be to fall for one of these tripwires? That wasn't my fault, okay? I pressed C to crouch, and the game instantly put me into slide mode. And that's what... Yeah, okay, fine, you can have that one. I don't even care. You know what? I should be getting kudos here for pressing the correct crouch button rather than pressing V by mistake because it's next to C on the keyboard and firing off the Supremo. But the most important thing that you really should take away from this... Nobody heard that explosion. Nobody's coming to investigate the noise or the flames. Yaren military. I was wondering what the point of the Yaren military was, and I have a theory.
Looks like the hotel, and what a surprise. The army is here. Bembe, I'm at the hotel, and so is the army. But I think you already knew that.
It's the delicious little surprises that make life worth living.
Save me your bullshit. Let me guess. You want me to take them out.
You see? This is why I like you, Rojas. Don't kill those soldiers for me. Do it for Paulo.
I honestly believe that the only reason that the Yara military exists in the first place is to give Starfleet red shirts and Imperial stormtroopers somebody to look down on. Hey, it's a theory. But I feel that there is compelling evidence to support it. Right, anyway, let's finish off the last of these chuckleheads. There don't seem to be that many more of them. Oh no, that's one of the wild animals that... Wow. Wow, I really did manage to shoot the door off that cage at a distance of 600 meters with a Colt 1911 45 caliber ACP pistol. Oh, Ubisoft. Yeah, seriously, these jokes just write themselves now. Oh, and by the way, I do continue to apologise for that homemade suppressor. But believe it or not, I don't even know what it is. A bottle of brake fluid taped to the end of the barrel? That is the most effective suppressor for any firearm in the game. It's not that they don't have any actual made-for-purpose firearm suppressors available. They do. There's one available that looks like one of the Knights Armament Corporation suppressors. There's other ones that look like other suppressors from other companies whose names I don't know. But none of them are as effective as cable tying a bottle of brake fluid stuffed with an old sock over the end of your barrel. Actually, you know, now that I come to think of it, it's like that with all of the improvised attachments in Far Cry 6. I mean, think about that for a moment. I mean, you've got a guerrilla army here who are supposed to be on the bones of their arse as far as their equipment availability is concerned. And yet they do have access to actual weapon attachments, like the ACOG, very badly mounted to the dust cover of the AK-47 here, and a micro red dot, mounted actually fairly professionally to the top of the 1911. Even though the 1911 compensator doesn't actually have any ports in it in order to, you know, compensate recoil. But that's another matter entirely. No, the point I'm making here is that, well, okay, let's say that they do have some very limited availability of things like actual weapon sights and scopes and actual mounting brackets and actual suppressors. Because they are available to you in the game. But the stuff that they improvise, you know, the stuff that they cobble together out of sticky back plastic and cardboard is better than the stuff that it's supposed to be imitating. What? How is that even... Oh, I give up. Anyway, I don't actually care how effective the improvised suppressor on the 1911 is. It's an offence to the good name of John Moses Browning, and the second I get to a workbench, I'm going to be equipping an actual suppressor manufactured by companies that actually manufacture suppressors rather than this homemade monstrosity, regardless of how good the stats are. Because some things are just sacred. Right, there's the key. Now to open the door. I still don't actually know what it is that Bembe wants in this place, but I have no doubt that it will be something seedy, grubby, and downright nasty. Why is there a key? There's a key to this place on the inside of the locked door of this... Well, actually, that's not completely stupid. I mean, there's more than one key. I picked one up from the restaurant. Also, it turns out I needn't have bothered. You can just swim in. So I suppose that's why there's a key inside, in case you don't want to swim back out again. After all, these waters are infested with crocodigators, so there's a key inside so that you can take the door and get out the easy way. That makes sense. Yeah, that's fine. Ubisoft can have that one. I suppose I should probably at some point see what's actually inside the safe.
Bembe, it's done. I got your book.
Muy bien, Rojas. I can see why Clara has so much faith in you. You're such a good little golfer.
Is that what you think I am?
Prove me wrong.
I don't have to prove anything to you. Tell me where to meet you.
I'm across the north bridge of the hotel.
Wait, oh, God damn it, Chorizo. Look, you're a good dog and I love you, but get out of the way. He was here the whole time. Yep, he was here the whole time. And I don't mean nearby, I mean actually in the grounds of the hotel. And none of the soldiers did anything. Ah, but Jingles, clearly he was paying the soldiers off. He's a corrupt black marketeer after all. Then why did he need me to come in and kill everybody and retrieve the book from the locked safe? If he's got the troops in his pocket, which would explain why they didn't shoot him on sight the same way they did everybody else here, based on all the bodies lying around, then why didn't he just get them to retrieve the book? I mean, you know, since he's got them all paid off anyway, why not? Ah, Jingles, you're thinking again, aren't you? It doesn't pay to do that when you're playing Far Cry 6. Right, let's get this over with. Or at least try to. It's saying press E to talk. And I'm pressing E, but nobody's talking. Why is it greyed out? What is going on here?
Thank you for securing my new port.
Thought you wanted the book from the safe.
Can the man have both? Of course, Via Judia Hotel is the real prize jewel. It's the best smuggling port on the south coast.
You just needed someone to clear out the competition.
The Russians made good money from this place. And with this book of corrupt officials in their pay, that money will now flow to me. We are done here. But you and I still have business to do, Rojas. You've paid off some of Paolo's debt, but not all. Don't worry, I have more work for you.
No, fuck this. I've got a better idea. There we go. Debt cleared. Except... it isn't. He's not dead. I'm pretty sure I just emptied a 3-round burst of 5.7mm right into his chest at point blank range. But no, he's not dead. For anybody who was asking in a previous video why I didn't just take advantage of Talia being strung up over a crocodile pit, save myself all of the trouble and shoot her in the face right there and then, this is the answer. It turns out, as I change clips, that bullets are actually too good for them.
I got you!
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It's not like he's immune to taking damage, he's just immune to dying from it.
¿Qué tal, guerrilla? Let's make me some money.
And it's the same with all of the Maximus Matanzas arseholes. While I would dearly love to slot all of them, well, except for Bichot, he's harmless. Unfortunately, the game just won't let you do it. So we're stuck with them for good. And on that cheerful note, that's it for this episode of Communist Revolutionary Simulator 6. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care.